Update your classic bob for thin hair. You ever look in the mirror and think, wait, when did my bob stop working? It's still the same cut you've trusted for years. Same length, same shape, same part. But somehow, it doesn't feel the same anymore. The back looks flat, the sides fall limp, and instead of framing your face, it's just sitting there, like a style that used to belong to you, but doesn't quite fit anymore. Here's the truth no one says out loud. It's not the bob that's broken. It's that thin hair after 60 changes the rules. Quietly, but completely. And unless your cut changes with it, even a classic starts working against you. But here's the twist. You don't need a brand new look. You just need to update the one you already love with a few subtle shifts that bring it back to life. In this video, we'll show you 5 elegant tweaks that revive the classic bob, designed specifically for thin hair in your 60s. These aren't drastic changes. They're smart, graceful updates that lift what's gone flat, soften what's gone harsh, and bring your silhouette back into focus. Let's get into it. Number 1. Add subtle stacked layers for quiet lift. You know that moment? You catch the back of your hair in a mirror and think, why does it look like my head just ends? If your classic bob is starting to feel flat, shapeless, or like it's dragging your whole look down, you're not imagining it. What used to feel crisp and structured in your 40s now feels like it's pressing down on already fine hair. Here's why. The blunt bob was built for density. It's a style that relies on weight and uniform thickness. But once your hair starts thinning, especially at the crown and nape, that same blunt cut becomes your biggest saboteur. It collapses, it emphasizes thin spots, and it can even make the back of your head look, well, tired. The good news? You don't need to give up your bob, you just need to lighten the load. Literally, by adding subtle stacked layers at the nape, you lift the back without losing the signature shape. These layers aren't choppy or obvious. They're quietly architectural. They build gentle volume where thinning usually starts, right at the base of your skull. That means more shape, more movement, and a back view that actually holds up. No teasing, no mousse, no heat tools. Think of it as giving your haircut a bit of a backbone, a structure that supports your natural texture, instead of weighing it down. And here's something most women don't expect. The emotional lift is just as powerful as the visual one. There's a difference between looking done and looking alive. Stacked layers give your bob that subtle energy. A little swing, a little shape, a little moment when someone looks twice and thinks, she looks fresh. So if your classic bob has been falling flat, try giving the back some room to breathe. Lift from underneath and let your shape do the quiet talking. Now that we've restructured the foundation, let's soften the frame. Because the next step, it's all about length and how one small shift can bring your face back into balance. Number 2, go for a slightly longer lob to frame the face. Ever notice how your face has started to feel sharper? Not in a high-fashion cheekbone pop way, but in a when did my jawline start doing that kind of way. That soft fullness you once had around your cheeks and chin, it quietly fades with time. And the shorter your bob is, the more it puts those changes on display. That's where the lob comes in. The slightly longer, shoulder-grazing version of your classic bob. It doesn't abandon the bob structure. It just relaxes it. By allowing the length to drop just an inch or two below the chin, a lob begins to trace the outer lines of your face, softening edges, adding movement, and gently shifting attention away from areas where fullness has faded. Especially for thinning hair, this shape is a quiet game changer. A lob creates the illusion of volume by drawing the eye downward in a graceful curve. It gives you longer pieces around the face to frame the jaw and soften sharper features. And for many women, It brings back the comfort of seeing a face that feels like their own again. Not overly exposed, not pulled tight by a short crop. A well-shaped lob doesn't just flatter, it forgives. It understands that your face has changed, but it doesn't punish you for it. Instead of boxing in your features, it opens up the space around them, adding flow, movement, and a sense of quiet elegance that says, yes, this is still me, just a little wiser. And the best part? A lob is the perfect canvas for what comes next. A soft, side-swept bang, designed to restore movement up top where hair tends to fall flat first. Let's talk about that. Number 3, incorporate soft side bangs for gentle movement. Sometimes it's not the length of your hair that makes you feel off. It's the stillness, that flat, motionless space across your forehead where volume used to live. As we age, the top of the head becomes one of the first places to thin. And suddenly, you're not just losing fullness, you're losing movement. That little lift at the front, gone. That softness that used to frame your expression, now replaced by a bare sweep of forehead and a part that seems to stretch too far back. That's where soft side bangs make their quiet entrance. They're not heavy, blunt, or trying too hard to reclaim a youthful look. They're gentle companions to thinning hair, designed to bring back that sense of motion without adding weight or bulk. A soft side bang can do something no styling mousse ever could. It brings the eye back to your expression. It draws attention to your eyes, lifts the cheekbones, and creates a sense of fullness. The front, right where thinning tends to steal it first. And more than anything, it softens. It softens the forehead. It softens harsh angles. It softens the feeling of being exposed. Many women worry that bangs are high maintenance, but side-swept, feathered ones are surprisingly easy. They blend right into the rest of your layers and grow out gracefully if you ever change your mind. But what they give you? That hint of movement, that spark of softness. That moment where you catch your reflection and think, yes, that's more like me. We've lifted the back. We've softened the length. We've brought movement to the front. Now, let's add something even more subtle, a touch of light, right where it matters most. Because in part 4, we're talking about the ends and how a little brightness can transform everything without adding weight. Number 4, lighten the ends for dimension without weight. By now, you've reshaped the cut, softened the frame, and brought movement back to your face. But there's still one part that quietly holds you back, the ends. On thinning hair, solid-colored ends can look heavy, flat, even tired. And when the cut is all one tone from root to tip, everything starts to blend together. No depth, no texture, no life. But here's the quiet trick most women overlook: lightening the ends. We're not talking about harsh highlights or dramatic color shifts. This is something far subtler, a soft brightening at the bottom third of your hair that catches the light, adds movement, and gives the illusion of fullness. When your hair is fine, every shadow matters. Dark, blunt ends weigh down your whole look, literally and visually. But a touch of light at the bottom lifts the eye and breaks up that heaviness without adding volume you don't have. The result? A bob that feels airy instead of solid, ends that look gently lifted, not thinned out, and a silhouette that moves even when you don't. Better yet, this kind of soft lighting has another benefit. It softens your overall presence. There's a warmth to it, a glow that reflects off your skin and brightens the face without needing a full dye job. Think of it as the hair version of a well-placed scarf or a soft blush, just enough to add definition and grace without stealing the spotlight. And because it's focused on the ends, there's no harsh grow-out, no root line, no commitment, just dimension, quiet lift, a touch of elegance where it's needed most. So now your bob has structure, it has softness, It has movement. It has light. There's just one more piece to make it truly whole, a clean, tapered finish at the nape, where confidence lives in the de. Number 5, taper the nape for a clean, lifted back view. You can do everything right from the front. The layers, the length, the softness, the light. But if the back falls flat, the whole cut quietly falls apart. It's a detail many women over 60 don't realize they're missing until they catch a glimpse from behind. That rounded edge at the nape that once looked polished, now it looks bulky, blunt, a little too heavy for hair that's gotten finer with time. That's why one of the most powerful updates you can make is also one of the most overlooked. Taper the nape. By gently tapering the hair at the back, especially where the neck meets the base of the skull, you create a subtle lift that makes the entire silhouette feel lighter and more refined. It's not about cutting shorter. It's about cutting smarter. A tapered nape gives structure without bulk. It draws the eye upward, giving the illusion that the crown is fuller and higher, even when the hair is thin. And it reveals just enough of the neck to create a graceful, elongated look, something that adds elegance without effort. More than that, it gives your haircut a sense of completion, like the difference between a good outfit and one that's been tailored to fit you perfectly. No stray weight at the bottom, no heavy line pulling your shape down. Just clean, lifted balance from every angle. And for many women, this subtle shift changes more than the haircut. It changes how they carry themselves. Because when the back feels polished, we stop hiding behind scarves. We stop pulling everything forward. We stand up straighter, not to show off, but because we finally feel put together again. So if your classic bob has started to feel like it's dragging you down, literally and emotionally, try tapering the nape. It's a quiet change with a powerful effect. And now, you've rebuilt your bob from every angle, lifted in the back, softened in the front, shaped around the face, and brightened at the edges. This isn't a new haircut. It's your haircut, just reimagined for the woman you are now. So if you've been looking in the mirror, wondering why your classic bob just isn't working anymore, now you know. It's not you. It's not your age. It's simply time for your cut to evolve with you. Because thin hair after 60 has its own rhythm. And when your hairstyle finally listens to it, when it lifts instead of drags, softens instead of stiffens, and frames instead of flattens, that's when something shifts, not just in how you look, but in how you feel. You don't need a drastic makeover. You don't need to chase trends. You just need small, thoughtful changes, like stacked layers, a softened lob, a gentle bang, a touch of light, a tapered finish, to bring your classic bob back to life. It's still your haircut. It just fits who you are now. And that's the beauty of it. If any of these changes spoke to you, or you've already tried one yourself, let us know in the comments. There's always room here for women who are rewriting what beauty after 60 looks like, on their own terms. And if this video helped you feel seen, supported, or just a little more curious about your next salon visit, don't forget to subscribe. There's more where this came from. Until next time, stay lifted, stay light, and stay you.